What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. Folks, game one is in the books. Denver Nuggets win at home 104-93 in their very first finals appearance ever, which means this is their very first finals victory ever. So shout out to the Denver Nuggets and those boys. So recently, before this game, I had put out a video, just giving my thoughts on some things about the series and ask you all what your thoughts were. And a couple of things I said proved to be true. I'm not sitting here gloating because I don't have the right to do that. I didn't pick the Nuggets to even make it to the finals, nor did I pick the Miami Heat to make it to the finals when I did my predictions many, many months ago. So I'm not sitting here braggadocious, but I just want to bring up the point. One thing I had said was I believe Miami Heat is a deeper team. That didn't mean I think they're going to win the series, because I don't think they're going to win the series. And I didn't think they were going to win this game. But I do think they're the deeper team. Problem is, the Denver Nuggets starters, who Mike Malone runs most of the game, are just too reliable, too consistent, and consistently get the job done. And while Miami Heat tend to throw more players out there, they're just not as reliable, and their starters aren't as reliable as the Denver Nuggets starters. And I think the Miami Heat, I think their role players will probably flourish a little more at home, but they've proven themselves to be decent road dogs, if I'm going to be honest. Right? So just taking a look at it here, some of the things I said, you look at the Denver Nuggets starting lineup. Gordon, Porter Jr., Nikola, Murray, Caldwell Pope. Look at the minute breakdown. 36, 43, 40, 44, 36. Another thing I said is that the Nuggets, when they do go to their bench, like I said, they're not going to put Reggie Jackson in the game, even though he's a firecracker, or Ish Smith, who's a solid point guard. But they tend to run. Jeff Green, I said, he usually plays 5 to 15 minutes. He logged 11 minutes. And then Bruce Brown will get most of the minutes off the bench. And he did his normal 20, 21, 25 minutes. He had 21 minutes this game. And then I said they'd use Braun. I called him Braun, but I guess his name is pronounced Brown, Braun. They kept saying that during the game. I said he's usually out there just to give somebody a breather, but he's not logging any meaningful minutes. Same case in there, the same script. Mike Malone ran the same script, and it's working. Braun played 8 minutes, nothing super meaningful. He dived for a ball, but come on. But even in Jeff Green's 11 minutes, he shot 2 for 3 from the field, so he made the best of it. Brown doing usual Brown things, hustle plays, beautiful floater. Brown had actually a really good season. He had a good season with the Brooklyn Nets especially when he was being utilized. He was one of their more consistent and honestly better players. And I was mad that Brown wasn't getting more minutes, because I was rooting for Brooklyn as a Durant fan and a Kyrie Irving fan. Not super fan, but I do like Kyrie and KD. But anyway, but the Nuggets starters are just consistent and overwhelming. And the Nikola Jokic and the Jamal Murray pick and rolls, whether it's them two together or other players, especially when it's them two together, it causes havoc. And they're both great passers. Murray's a good passer. Joker's an all-time passer, playmaker. But and then you go over to the Miami Heat, and like I said, Jimmy Butler, for all the praise this guy's been getting, and he deserved it, especially in that round. But you got to be honest, he hasn't been the most consistent guy for quite some time now. Definitely in the last round he wasn't, but he showed up when they needed it most. But again, Jimmy Butler, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, minus 17. Really didn't look aggressive on the offensive end. And you can credit some of that to the defense of the Nuggets, but let's be real, the Denver Nuggets defense wasn't like overwhelming. And that's not their MO. They're not at their core defensive team. And I think Miami was just missing shots at the same time. Surprise, surprise. The guy that I didn't think would did show up, was Bam Adebayo on 40 minutes, had 26 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Vincent did the same old Vincent things. Max Struss was an absolute no-show. Caleb Martin was a no-show. Duncan Robinson was a no-show. Luckily for them, Hi Smith came in and did some work. And Kyle Lowry was okay. Kyle Lowry was Kyle Lowry. Um, and Kevin Love was a did not play. So Kevin Love has been a pretty vital part of the team up until now. And a big reason why I said they do go deeper into their bench. But let me see how many bench players they played today. One, two, three, four, five, six. Six bench players they played today in Miami Heat. But to be honest, three of them played over 20 minutes. Zeller gave 8 minutes, and then the other two guys were just garbage time. But Kevin Love, I'm wondering what Coach Spo's game plan is for him if he plans on utilizing him. I think Kevin Love could be really good for stretching the floor if you're going to play him at the 4 or 5 position. But I can't remember. I don't think he's really been playing much 5 in the playoffs, but I could be wrong. I can't recall. Anyway, yeah. I mean, you got to keep it real here. You got to keep it real. I do think the Miami Heat bench players and these guys like Struss, technically he didn't come off the bench, but Coach Spo switches his lineups regularly as far as the starting lineup. But I do think a lot of these role players for the Miami Heat will shoot better at home. But I still don't know if that's going to be enough because the Nuggets, home or on the road, either way doesn't phase them. It doesn't. It doesn't. And the only team to really give them any type of troubles so far, honestly, was just the Phoenix Suns, and that took Devin Booker and Kevin Durant to be smoking hot. And the Denver Nuggets still played admirably in those games, trying to deal with that flamethrower those two guys were when they managed to steal 2 games. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did steal 2. I think that was that a 4-2 series? I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but they haven't seen an offense quite like that. Or I had to deal with 2 players firing on ends quite like that. I'll put it that way. They haven't dealt with 2 players firing on ends like that. But yeah. Like I said, even though a team goes deeper into their bench because they have the tools, doesn't necessarily make them the better team, especially when you got to start lineup like the Denver Nuggets that are just a well-oiled, overwhelming machine. I mean, come on. Nicole, you are writing in Joker for 27, 14, and 10. And that's just not numbers. I'm talking an impactful triple-double. He only took 12 shot attempts, 8 for 12 from the field. He was on chill mode. Chill mode for him. 27 points on 12 field goal attempts. 14 assists, 10 rebounds. Meaningful, not stat padding. Jamal Murray, 26 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds on 22 shot attempts. Aaron Gordon, 16 and 6. Porter Jr., 14 and 13. He's become a rebounding beast. I got to hand it to him. I do. Caldwell Pope, doing Caldwell Pope things. 7 points, but I'm not going to say big plays, but some important plays in key moments of the game. Me and my friend, we like to bet on sports. He had hit me up, and he was like, yo, I'll tell you what he said. He's like, I'm looking at odds for finals, and there's no way I see Miami winning at plus 300. Nuggets are minus 385, which is fucking shitty. Joker Finals MVP is minus 330, which is shitty. Butler is plus 300, but here's what I like. Jamal Murray at plus 1,000's final MVP. He said, what do you think about that? I said, probably a safe bet on Murray, but I just don't see him getting MVP over Joker. I don't. I said, Joker's rebounds and assists are just going to be way too overwhelming, and you can check Joker off for at least 20 points. Joker is going to be at a minimum 20, 10 plus, 10 plus. You can write that in. And I said Nikola Jokic all around numbers are just going to be too much and they're impactful. But I said you can go ahead and make the bet considering the amount of money you can get, and it's not impossible, but improbable that Murray gets the MVP over Joker. I just can't see it. I think given Joker's going to get you 20 plus, 10 plus, 10 plus by the time this is all said and done, assuming they win the finals. This is a scenario I'm drawing out, which I said I did pick them to win. But I think Murray, to offset that, would have to give you 35 to 40 points per game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and that might just get a co MVP. That still might get a co MVP. And Murray had, 26 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Great game, but Joker had 27, 14, and 10. You know what I mean? Joker's numbers are just going to be. So if anybody wants my opinion and they're betting on finals MVP, I would say, I know you're not going to win a lot with Joker winning it. So if you got a large amount of money to make it worth it, I'd put my money on Joker. But I just can't see. Murray would have to go nuts to offset his 20 plus triple double. He would have to go nuts. And I just don't see that happening. Not impossible, but I don't see it happening. But do you? At plus 1,000? Nah, why not throw some money in? I just don't see it happening, though. So I'm personally going to stay away from that bet because if the Nuggets do win, Joker's coming back with that MVP. The numbers are just going to be too much. And he is the hub, the hub of that offense, the focal point. But Murray is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Hats off. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think about it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. And I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.